The 45-degree leg press can be adjusted to place more emphasis on the glutes by making just a few specific tweaks to your setup. The glutes have three main parts: the glute maximus, medius, and minimus. This variation emphasizes the glute max, the largest muscle of the glutes, and it trains it in a lengthened position bias, meaning it's hardest at the bottom of the squat when the glutes are the most stretched. That matters because loading the glutes in their stretched position creates the highest tension and is one of the best ways to drive growth and strength. However, since this is still a squat-based movement pattern, it is completely normal to still feel your quads working too. With any squat, lunge, or leg press variation, we can shift the emphasis between the quads, the glutes, and the adductors, but we can never fully isolate one muscle alone in any squat-based movements like leg presses and lunges. For your stance, place your feet about hip-width apart with the toes pointing straight forward. This setup best aligns for loading the glute max. You may have heard a wide sumo stance is good for glute engagement. Like all squat movements, it does recruit some glutes, but a sumo position shortens the range of motion for the glute max and works the adductors more. So to bias the glutes effectively, we want a higher foot placement with a relatively narrow stance. How high you place your foot will vary on your personal limb length and the machine's setup. Taller lifters like myself may end up closer towards the top of the platform, while shorter lifters may be lower. The key is more so that at the bottom of the squat, your knee should reach about 90 degrees. If you continue deeper and go too low, it starts to move more of the bias onto the quads. Whereas an excessively high foot placement reduces the lever arm and can stress the knees and hips instead of the target muscle. While you're learning, I recommend to take a side profile video like this so you can check your foot position to make sure it's in a good spot at the bottom. Once your feet are set, pull yourself firmly into the seat, press your hips and glutes back into that back pad, grip the side handles tightly, and engage your lats. Avoid reaching overhead, flaring your ribs, or using your hands to push against your knees. You want to hold onto the handles and really pull yourself into the seat. Let your lats engage and wrap around the core to better protect your spinal stability. Then brace your core by filling your belly with air and pressing down into the abdominal wall. Keep your rib cage tucked down and your lower back pressed into the pad. For execution of these, think of this as not so much a bending of the knees movement, but rather focus on this as a hip flexion movement. Slowly lower the platform, allowing your knees to bend and move toward your chest. Lower the platform only as far as you can maintain full contact between your hips, low back, and seat pad, around a 90-degree knee bend or so. We're looking to have the knee stay roughly above the ankle. If the knee travels too far forward, closer to the toes and past that ankle, we will see the quads start to take over and be more biased than the glutes. So for a glute biased leg press, we're looking for about a 90-degree knee bend with the knee staying above the ankle. This bottom position is the lengthened position where the glutes are under the most tension. Now, a common mistake is chasing extra range of motion and going too deep, but more depth doesn't mean more glute. It usually just means more quad. From the bottom, drive the sled back up by pushing your hips down into the seat. Press evenly through your entire foot, heel, midfoot, and the ball of the foot. This setup and execution biases the glute max as much as possible in the leg press. But remember, bias doesn't mean isolation. Your quads, adductors, and other stabilizers will still be working. With these adjustments, you're simply shifting just a little bit more of the work onto the glutes than other variations. If you are training until failure, make sure to set the safety stops beforehand so that you can safely fail without any risk of injury. And as always, be sure to unrack all your weights after your session.